Reacting to I Got Rich and Famous But I Lost God by Jay Welch. Let's get into it.
Yeah. I got millions of followers. I got millions of dollars. My mama's good. She lives in her dream house. I just picked up my dream car this week. It's a crazy McLaren. I done did it all. It feels like I traveled the whole world, but something still feels like it's missing. I did a video like a month ago talking about how I was feeling a bit depressed and a bit down after selling my company, and everybody, no joke, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments, maybe even thousands of comments, recommended me to read my Bible. And you know, I have had Christian parents, and my grandparents were Christians, and it was always something that was in the house, but I never myself identified as a Christian. I really never did. And in fact, for a long period of my life, and excuse me, I look like I just woke up. I did. For a long period of my life, I wasn't a Christian. In fact, I even used to like talk down on the whole thing. I used to think that it was kind of a bit stupid. You know, I was like, well, just trying to argue with science and some uneducated beliefs. And it was hard for me to believe the idea of God. It was hard for me to believe the idea of Jesus. Therefore, when I went to church as a kid, I used to just sleep. I used to be bad. I used to not want to go. I used to be crying and throwing a fit that I had to go. And it really just was one of those things that I hated. So I really was never somebody that believed in God. I never even cared about it. And funny enough, I became somewhat successful without having a relationship with God. I think at the age of like 19, 20, I had my first couple $100,000 from the internet. I was in good shape. I was about to move to
Exhibit A. Not everyone who gets rich is from God. Gotta point that out there. Just want to let y'all know that. Not everything you see on the internet may not be from God. It may be. But most of the stuff that you see on the internet, like all that money and stuff like that, that ain't from God.
Los Angeles and live in my dream apartment at the time. And I had no relationship with God. So I thought that I didn't need that. And I thought that I had the power. I thought that if I could go that far without God, then what's the point of having a relationship with God now? And funny enough, I was living this life for about a year, doing very bad stuff. Bad stuff. You know, we were getting drunk every weekend. I was smoking weed pretty much every day, spending money on stupid stuff, not taking care of my family the way that I take care of them now, just living for me. I was living like I was only living for me. And this caught up to me pretty quickly. My business came crashing down. My finances came crashing down shortly after. And it wasn't long until I was worth nothing, like less than nothing. I had $30,000 in debt. I had to leave Los Angeles. I had to move back to my mom's house. I went from being on top of my little world to back to zero again. And this, funny enough, was one of the first times that I ever started to tap back into my relationship with God. There was times when I was in Los Angeles where maybe I went to church, but I was just doing it because I wanted to go there with my friend, or maybe because I wanted to right my wrong on what I did on the weekend, but I never really like took it seriously. It never felt like it was my choice. Once I had to leave Los Angeles and move back to my mom's house, that was one of the first times that I ever prayed. And it's funny because why didn't I pray when I was up? Why wasn't I giving God thanks for the success that I had? Why did I only come crying to God when things came crashing down in my life? Anyways, that's what I did. And I was at my mom's house.
God takes us through a painful experience to draw near Him, to draw closer to Him. And that's what got me closer to Him, was a painful experience. It's a hard truth, but it's gotta happen. It's either the world or eternity with God.
I was broke as a joke. I was addicted to drugs. I was less of a man. I felt like less of a man than I had ever been in my life. And all I had left was to go to God. And I started praying to God. And the thing that I prayed for was forgiveness. Not only did I pray to have God forgive me, but I prayed to be able to forgive myself. Because I felt like at that stage of my life, I just had so much resentment and angst towards myself. And that was the thing that was blocking me from moving forward. And it didn't take long, actually, for me to reach a point in which I felt as if I was forgiven. I can't really explain it outside of more than that. It was like almost a shift in my mind that I was forgiven for the mistakes that I had made in my past. And my people still loved me, and God still loved me, and I had another shot at this thing. Looking back on it now, I realize that was God forgiving me. That was the whole ethos of Christianity itself, is that if you right some wrongs, if you do some wrongs, you can be forgiven and you could be made new again. Still back then, I didn't have that understanding like I do now. So I just thought, okay, well, you forgave yourself, so now you're good. Keep on pushing. And sure enough, it worked. It was only a year after that I was back up over $1 million. I bought my mom her dream truck. I had myself on my feet again. I had a big investment portfolio. I was living in Miami with my friends. Like, I was super healthy, super good shape. But still, I had nothing to give to God. I was not praying. I was not giving thanks. He saved me from my lowest moment of my life. I begged him when I was at zero to save me. And then when I made it up again, I didn't thank him. Maybe a little bit here and there, but it was never genuine thanks. I didn't do what I needed to do to show the right thanks. And again, things came crashing down for me, you know? I didn't go broke again, but I got addicted to drugs again. I started smoking every single day. I lost my father. I lost a relationship with my brother, who was like my best friend, and back to zero again, mentally and emotionally back to zero. So what I'm trying to say is that every time I get to the top and I don't give thanks to the Lord, it seems like he's testing me. It reminds me of the book of Job. I just started reading the Bible a little bit more. I'm not very well versed on the Bible, so don't expect me to start kicking verses yet. But the book of Job is a story about this man. He's super successful. He owns a big farm. He's got all the sheep. He's got, I think, like 10 children or more than 10 children. And one day, everything goes. He loses it all. God takes it all away from him. Takes away his farm, takes away his house. Actually, doesn't take it away, burns it down. And all of his children, they were in the house. Oh yeah, the house burned down and all the kids died too. God took away everything from this man to test his faith. And in the time which he lost everything, at first, he was still showing strong faith to God. But then after a while, he started to resent God. He started to speak on God poorly. And he got nothing in return. He just kept getting nothing and living in a rough life. But then after a certain point, he finally said, okay, he had a lot of his friends, and his friends were trying to convince him why God might have did this or whatever. At a certain point, he really started to get stronger in his faith, and he started to become a better Christian. And sure enough, God gave him everything he had, but double. And when I heard this story of Job, it really reminded me of my life. I mean, Job had it way rougher than me, but I had some success, and God took everything away from me. And I showed God that I wanted to know him, and he gave it back to me 10 times more. And that brings me to today. I'm in a position now where I'm more affluent than ever. I have amazing friends, amazing connections. I have all material success, but I still feel like something's missing. And this time, I don't want to make the same mistake that I made in the past. This time, I don't want to go without giving thanks. And this time I really want to know God. I think Jesus is the answer to filling this maybe emptiness that I have in my heart, because to me it seems to be the final
Don't
frontier. I
think
mean,
he is the
you can
answer.
achieve all the
1,000%.
material success in the world,
Jesus
but
is
it's
the
not
way.
going to fulfill you in the way that you think it is. It's not that, oh, if I know Jesus, then I don't need to do anything anymore and I could just know Jesus and that's it. But I mean, maybe it is, I don't know, but I'm still gonna keep doing everything that I'm doing. But I want to be a better Christian, and I do want to know Jesus, and I just wanted to share that with you guys who might be, you know, a bit like wishy-washy in your faith. I got far without Jesus, but I know if I want to go further, I need him. If I want to go further and actually enjoy life and find meaning in life, I need to know Jesus. And that's the journey that I'm embarking on. Now, I can't promise I'm gonna be, you know, a perfect Christian and stuff like that. I'm really sometimes scared even about putting this message out there, but it's just something that I felt called to do, especially after the overwhelming response that I got on the last video. Because after I got this last video talking about me being depressed, I went to the comment section and everybody was telling me to go read the Bible. So, okay, obviously I'm not going to go read the whole Bible, but everybody, well, not right now, but everybody told me to go read Ecclesiastes and Proverbs and Job. So I read all three of these books, and I come to realize that, and in my life, I'm 26 now, I've read maybe 200, 300 books, like on like self-help and business and relationships and psychology. The Bible has the best wisdom of all the books. In fact, all the books that I've read almost seem to be a regurgitated version of what the Bible is trying to say, just in their own worldly view. It's exciting that I'm making this realization at this stage of my life. I wish I made it earlier, and maybe if I made it earlier, I wouldn't have even had to go through losing everything, or perhaps this is exactly how God planned it.
It's just a beautiful story, bro. Like, honestly, because you can have all the money in the world, but it will never, if you don't have God, bro, it's never gonna fill that void, bro. Nothing will ever fill that void besides God, bro. You could have millions, you could have everything that you want, bro. Everything that you want. You don't got God, bro. It's not gonna mean nothing, bro. It's not gonna fill you up, bro. Yeah, man. Hope you have a great one. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We out to the next one. Up chat. I just wanna get briefly into Ecclesiastes 12:13-14. It says, "The end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment with every secret thing, whether good or evil." Meaning that none of this stuff matters that we're doing on earth. The end of the matter is all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments. That's all man is supposed to do. And it also says, for God will bring every deed into judgment, whether every secret thing, whether good or evil. If you think you hiding in the dark, God can see it. There's nothing too dark that he can't see. If you think God's not looking at you, boy, he's always looking at you. He's looking at all of us like a 24/7 security cam. Keep his commandments, take up your cross, keep moving. All sin, we've all fallen under God. We've all sinned. You gotta keep on going, that's it.